केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. 10 long days after Twisha Sharma's lifeless body was found on the terrace of her matrimonial home, her so-called life partner finally emerged from hiding. For 240 hours, the Madhya Pradesh police said they could not trace Samar. Today, suddenly he surfaced in Jabalpur, dressed less like a fugitive and more like a man scripting his own optics, cap on, sunglasses on, face hidden. Viewers, the main accused in Twisha Sharma's death case was not tracked down by the police. He effectively walked in on his own terms when he decided to come, a time of his choosing. He decided when to appear, where to appear, and how to appear. First, his lawyers withdrew the anticipatory bail plea. Then Samarth Singh himself, a lawyer, arrived at the Jabalpur district court before being taken into custody and shifted to Bhopal for formal surrender proceedings. Now, Twisha's family and the entire country is asking, why does an accused who evaded investigators for 10 long days still appear to enjoy so much operational freedom? Was the system really chasing him or just waiting for him to arrive when convenient, almost like a VVIP son of an additional district judge who's retired but certainly seems to be extremely influential?
अब उन्होंने बताया कि उनकी जान को खतरा है। वो जान को खतरा कहाँ था? जब ये भोपाल से जबलपुर गए। भोपाल में जाने के बाद इनको जबलपुर में जाने के बाद इनको जान का खतरा हुआ, महसूस हुआ। दे आर एक्सप्लॉइटिंग द लूप होल्स, दे नो द लूप होल्स, और उसका फायदा उठा रहे हैं, ये सिस्टम का फायदा उठा रहे हैं। वाई इज द मीडिया द फर्स्ट एंटिटी हु वाज अवेयर कि भाई समर्थ सिंह कोर्ट के अंदर है? वाई इज पुलिस बीइंग अ फेलियर एट दिस एंड एंड मीडिया इज कमिंग फोर्थ with the exact location?
अभी तक गिरफ्तार नहीं हुआ है सर। जब गिरफ्तार होगा तभी हम लोगों को चैन पड़ेगा। यहाँ पे जो इंसान क्राइम करता है वो यही हरकतें करता है और वही हरकतें कर रहा है। वो खुलेआम इस तरीके से घूम रहा है, मीडिया उसको पकड़ रही है। कहाँ है पुलिस? पुलिस क्यों नहीं पकड़ पा रही है उसको?
10 days, 240 hours too late. The system didn't just lose time. It may have lost the integrity of the probe itself, because every passing day gave the accused breathing room, time to allegedly manipulate the case, mobilize influence, hold press interactions, and build a parallel defense in public view. Now, even as the state recommends a CBI probe and the court orders a second autopsy on Twisha, the delay may have already weakened crucial forensic traits. Digital evidence can disappear. Devices can be altered. Witnesses can be influenced. Crime scenes may have been compromised. This sluggishness could have compromised the pursuit of truth and justice for Twisha and a country that watches haplessly even as in the 21st century a dowry death allegedly takes place and justice is just so slow that it may ultimately be evaded.
देखिए, जिसकी मां जज रह चुकी हो और जिसके संबंध इस पूरी जुडिशरी से रहे हों, और वो खुद समर्थ सिंह ऐसा बताया जाता है कि यहाँ का लीगल एडवाइजर एमपी गवर्नमेंट का रह चुका है, उनको सारे कानूनी दावपेच से वो बहुत अच्छे से वाकिफ हैं कि किस तरीके से उनको रिलीफ कौन सा कोर्ट दे सकता है।
इनके जो बेसिक डिटेल्स गलत सबमिट किए गए हैं पीएम रिपोर्ट में। लाइगेचर मटेरियल सबमिट नहीं किया गया था आईओ से टू द फोरेंसिक टीम। इट्स अ वेरी dubious and a shoddy work.
Samarth might be in custody, but his mother Giribala Singh, another accused in this case, is still out on bail. No questions asked. Hearing now on the 25th, and despite that, look at what the state police itself told the court today while opposing her bail. A police outpost was just barely 100 meters from her house, and yet they were not informed about Twisha's death at all. Is that not an omission that should have raised eyebrows and hackles on day one? Twisha's post-mortem found ante-mortem injuries. Investigators say the crime scene handling raises serious questions. They allege evidence tampering. They say Giribala didn't cooperate even after getting bail. And then comes the bigger concern: influence. Media appearances, interviews, press conferences during an active investigation, something that should never have taken place, and attempts to shape the narrative and prejudice the probe itself. And yet, Giribala Singh is still a free bird. We'll have to wait when anything actually happens on that.
और कई मांगे हैं कि जिस तरह से मिस गिरबाला सिंह की जो बेल है उसे रिजेक्ट की जाए, और इस प्रकार क्योंकि वो जिस तरह से वो उन्हें बच्ची को उनकी मृत्यु के बाद भी उन्हें डिफेम करे जा रही है और नीचा दिखाई जा रही है और कोई रिस्पेक्ट नहीं है, और जिस प्रकार से बातें की जा रही है तो इसका संकेत है कि वो उनके उस समय शादी के समय भी जब वो जीवित थी तभी ये ऐसी बातें करती थी।
गिरिबाला कह रही कि 1 नोटिस दिया, आपका दावा है 3 नोटिस दिए, वो झूठ बोल रही हैं क्या?
नहीं, हमने 3 नोटिस दिए हैं और क्योंकि उन्होंने सहयोग नहीं किया तो आज हमने उनकी एंटीसिपेटरी बेल कैंसिल करवाने के लिए माननीय हाई कोर्ट में लगाया है।
Besides non-cooperation, there is also the full-blown narrative war between her soundbites and her son's now withdrawn bail plea. Giribala Singh and her son have repeatedly tried to paint Twisha as the author of her own downfall, repeatedly accusing her of drug abuse. But now listen carefully to this conversation, because in her own words, Giribala Singh appears to admit that it was her son, not really Twisha, who had a history of substance abuse.
Because they were saying that इसने इसको ऐसा बोला, ऐसे बोला. The father called up and he said that Samarth, you don't know, he has been into these drugs and she is very afraid that the child may be infected. Soon after that she called up. And so it is Samar who should come and, a resolution ke liye isko aana hai. I said, why? But she has left from here. I said, this came as a news to me, because I was not aware what was happening under my very nose. Okay? I said, look, 2 years he was behind in the college because of this very reason. Yeah.
Twisha's in-laws are using the elbow room provided to them by a lax system to show Twisha in bad light, but their victim card isn't working anymore. Too late, but probably time may be up for them. They claim media pressure on the judiciary, but ignore the several calls Giribala herself made to judges the day right after the death of Twisha. They also say there's no material against them, but ignore the WhatsApp chats and call recording. They call the prosecution presumptuous, but fail to answer why did Samar disappear for days on end. They allege dowry charges are fabricated because they transferred 7 lakh rupees in Twisha's account, but fail to explain why did that transfer happen the very day she was found dead. But no matter what is the defense being mounted, more and more evidence is now emerging to put the accused firmly in the dock. Like this testimony from a parlor owner about how Giribala sent advocates who pretended to be cops to collect information on Twisha a day after her death.
गिरिबाला मैम का कॉल आया था, तो उनने मुझसे ये पूछा कि मेरी बहू आई थी क्या? मैंने बोला हाँ आई थी। फिर उनने मुझसे पूछा क्या है आपके पास, वो है क्या कार्ड मशीन का जो पेमेंट होता है वो होगा आपके पास? मैंने बोला नहीं, उनने पेमेंट नहीं किया था क्योंकि उनकी सर्विसेज पेंडिंग थी। फिर उनने मुझे बोला कि सीसीटीवी होगा आपके पास? मैंने बोला हाँ है। तो फिर उसके बाद जब कॉल डिस्कनेक्ट हुआ उसके बाद 4-5 वकील आए थे जिनने वो सीसीटीवी उनने चालू करके देखा। फिर मैंने उनको उनके एडवोकेट को नंबर दिया जिनने मेरे यहाँ सीसीटीवी लगाया था उनका। फिर उनने उस ड्यूरेशन की जिसमें जहाँ पे मैडम दिख रही थी, वहाँ का फुटेज उनने मुझसे ले लिया.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, brings me to the legitimate question on the Newshour tonight. Is this fight for justice? Did the system surrender? And that is the question as a nation we need to ask. A daughter of India lost her life and the system was just buying time, helped the accused family buy time. Why did they surrender? That's the question tonight on the Newshour.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Joining me on the Newshour tonight is Major Harshit and his wife Trisha's bhabhi. Major Harshit, I know it's been a tough 10 days for you and your family. Samarth Singh has surrendered today. But is that really enough? He chose his time. The system did not go out there and arrest him. He chose the time. He chose his dress. He chose where he would surrender. And today he surrendered at the Jabalpur court. I want to ask you, does this really satisfy you in terms of the investigation?
Ma'am, I'm not sure of the satisfaction that this thing gives me, but it definitely shows their knowledge of the system and them exploiting it. They are trying to make use of each loophole that is there in the system. Being a criminal lawyer, he's fully aware that he has to report either to the IO, the investigating officer, or the district court at which the case is being filed, has been filed. He deliberately chose Jabalpur. My question here is, why after 10 days? What is he trying to hide?
You say he deliberately chose Jabalpur. Is it something about Jabalpur that you know that people should know?
It is not about Jabalpur, ma'am. It is about... I do not know their connection with Jabalpur, honestly. I am sure there would be many. But at present, it is not just about Jabalpur. It is about not reporting to the place that you know you have to report when you have to surrender. You deliberately chose a place wherein you know you would get someone to help you. You deliberately chose a place wherein you know you'll be sent back. And why the question of protection now? Why the threat is being felt by him now? And why not while he was moving from Bhopal to Jabalpur? Are these included in the legal rights as Giribala Singh had told? To abscond and then report back to the court that his life is threatened.
Major Harshit, I also want to ask you the question that Giribala Singh is not responding to the summons that have been sent to her to cooperate in the investigation. The police says 3 summons, she says 1 summon. Why do you think she's stalling on this?
It reflects very poorly on the judgment that she must have passed all throughout the years. A liar herself, sitting at a place wherein you are supposed to judge other people, find out who's lying, who's telling the truth, and pass judgments. How can you do that when you lie yourself? How do you justify the chair that you've been sitting on? And the chair you're sitting on right now, how is it justified?
Major Harshit, the question today is also about the allegations she and her son have made against your sister about drug abuse. Why do you think she's making these charges? The drug abuse charge, the charge that they transferred 7 lakh rupees into Twisha's account. The date that was done was the date Twisha died 12th. Do you know what time this money was transferred? Do you have details of that?
Ma'am, these are all attempts to divert the attention of the investigating team. And she has done that while she was out on bail. The ex-judge has forgotten the law herself. She had made derogatory remarks. She had made accusations. The fact that she chose to call a media interaction in her office while she was out on bail, it only shows that she has nothing to justify her actions and would throw all the dirt that she can possibly gather. And she has it a lot. She has quite a lot of dirt on her.
Well, Major Harshit, I don't know what dirt you're referring to, but why would she call the beauty parlor or the salon where Trisha went on the day she lost her life? Why is she, the conversation she had with you about the reasons for her termination of pregnancy? What do you make of what she's trying to do in this?
All those allegations, ma'am, all those remarks that she's been making, she has no grounds for it. Whatever that is coming in her head, she's doing that. The possible reason that I find behind her making these accusations, making these statements, is that she has nothing else to talk about. There is a prominent guilt. There's a prominent guilt that she is trying to hide. She knows she has done wrong. It is clearly evident in the evidences that they themselves have provided. Be it the video recording, be it the CDR. It is not the action of a normal person who has been through an accident. An accident of losing your own daughter-in-law. How are those actions justified? Will a normal sane person do that when they have lost their daughter-in-law? Will a normal sane person move so casually in front of a dead corpse of her own daughter-in-law and then claim that she was in panic and that is the reason she had not called up? Will a normal sane person not pick up my mother's call and still end up calling 40 odd people on the same day? I want to know the calls that have been made by those persons that she had called after her call. She wants to prove her innocence, prove it.
True. I know this is a very painful chapter, but I also want to get your wife in. And I want to ask you, ma'am, Twisha was upset. There were WhatsApp messages that she sent her mother. Has she been upset for longer than when those messages came? What was she upset about? There is another conversation that has come out that probably shows allegedly that Samarth Singh himself was a substance abuse person. Did Twisha ever discuss that with the family?
Ma'am, regarding the incident, ma'am, when it came to the light, and she did mention it clearly, I mean, that was the reason she was upset. All the accusations, the constant emotional torture and harassment that she'd undergone, she had mentioned it, and that is when she decided to come home. Again, when they did go reconcile, she did see that there was no improvement in the behavior of Mrs. Giribala Singh or Mr. Samarth Singh. And she had clearly mentioned that this is something I'm not okay with and I want to come home. For the same reason, she had a ticket booked. She had her parents' ticket booked. Her parents had booked the ticket to go meet her at her in-laws' residence, at her residence in Bhopal. And onto that, when this was brought up to Mrs. Giribala Singh, she clearly said that this is not the time to come. Please do come during another season, during rainy season. and also to tell and constant, I mean, that's absolute blackmail to someone when she wants to go home because she's clearly upset by your behavior, because you all have no acknowledgement of what you are doing to someone who's just been married off to your home about 5 months ago. And to that, Mrs. Giribala Singh has to say that, you know, you need to bear with such kind of thing. औरतों को सहना पड़ता है. अगर ये लड़की आपके घर आ जाएगी तो हम इसे वापस से नहीं लेके आएंगे, हम इससे बात नहीं करेंगे. That's absolute blackmail to someone. And when she decided, I mean, Trisha has always been a girl who's always been fearless. She's always stood up for what is right and against what is wrong. And similarly, she was not comfortable with the behavior, with the actions of her husband or her mother-in-law. And she decided to come home. So we were pretty much aware, and she was pretty much aware of what was wrong and right.
Ma'am, was Trisha unhappy about her pregnancy? That's what her mother-in-law Giribala Singh has said. Was she unhappy about it? Did she discuss with the family about wanting to terminate her pregnancy?
Ma'am, who would want to bring a child in that home? She always wanted that baby, ma'am. But who would want to bring a child in a home where the legitimacy of the child is being questioned by not just a husband, but by the mother-in-law as well? Each passing day, she was accused of having multiple partners, or maybe I do not know who the child, whose child is it. Not just by the husband, but by the mother-in-law. The one person, the elder in the house, 2 out of 3 people are shaming that one person. For what? Accusing her of infidelity, accusing her and asking her questions like, will you do it if you've been with people before? Will you do it after marriage? Will you do it to climb the social ladder? Will you do it for monetary benefit? Comparing her like a case study of one of your case.
Extremely painful.
You give me the answer to
Extremely
that.
painful. Extremely painful and totally objectionable, the kind of questions that Giribala Singh has subjected Trisha to. In 21st century, may no woman have to go through what Trisha went through. Harshit, to you, to your wife, to your parents, what can I say? I can't even say condolences, because Trisha still needs her final closure. You need the final closure. But Samarth Singh now under arrest. Do you feel this is progress in the case? Do you have faith in justice?
I really hope, ma'am, and I really do want. Whatever that you're saying, my fingers are crossed, all our hopes, all our prayers are with that we do get justice. The one thing that we've been deprived of from the past 10 days, the complete process has been so deteriorating mentally. When you feel the entire system starting from from the bottom of the hierarchy to the top notch, when you feel every other person is against you and possibly with them, and yet you continue to fight, you continue to raise your voice just to be heard and just for the evidences to be seen by the experts and not just by us.
Well, Major Harshit,
I feel we have stepped forward in the right direction, ma'am. But the fight is long.
Absolutely. It is going to be a long fight, but we stand here in solidarity with you and your family to find the truth about what happened to Trisha. Today, I just hope that the powers that be will recognize that faith, that India is outraged in the manner this case has been handled. And citizens are aware of what's going on here, the influence peddling that's going on here, and that is something that will need to stop. The wheels of justice may be slow, but they will be moved, and we as a nation support you and your family in the quest for justice. Thank you, Major Harshit. Thank you, ma'am, for joining me on the Newshour. Going across to my panel, joining me tonight, Ankur Pandey, Twisha's family lawyer. Also joining me, Kanchan Jangid, friend of Twisha. Priya Malik, poet and storyteller, senior advocate Mighendra Singh. Samarth Singh's lawyer joins the debate. Naveen Chomal, lawyer. Sana Rais Khan, celebrity and lawyer, also joining the show. But my first question goes to Mr. Sanjay Hegde, senior advocate in the Supreme Court. Sanjay Hegde, this case has, outrage is a small word for it. For 10 days, the husband of a newly married woman, a woman who's lost her life, a woman who sent SOS calls, whose CCTV is out there racking every conscience that exists, the soul of every girl in this country. For 10 days, the police couldn't find him. And today, almost like a hero, he goes and surrenders in a dress appearing to be cool, clearly having no pressure of the system on him. What do you make of this?
Well, what I make of it is that lawyers make the worst litigants. When in a legal situation, lawyers, specifically former judges, they do need to put themselves in competent hands. The judge concerned, the mother-in-law, was ill-advised to give all those statements. Secondly, it is obvious that the son Samarth was evading arrest or keeping away, hoping that he also got anticipatory bail. When it looked that he was not likely to get anticipatory bail, he surrendered. He surrendered on a Friday, which ensures that his bail application can't be heard over the weekend. And whenever it is heard, there will be serious questioning. But at the end of the day, there are two or three broad parameters of this case. Firstly, this is a death within 7 years of marriage, within 5 months. There appears to be harassment. Was the harassment in relation to dowry? Then there would be 498A and all those other sections. The question of abetment to suicide would require evidence of a different kind. That you knew that you either instigated her or you knew that you had the intent to drive her to suicide. That again is a matter of investigation. Today, at least, the Samarth Singh has surrendered. Let the investigators now run their full investigation, and no doubt in the course of time, there will be a charge sheet if the investigators find material to substantiate either 498A or abetment to suicide.
Let me get in senior advocate Mighendra Singh, Samarth Singh's lawyer. And my first question to you, sir, is how can Samarth Singh be absconding for 10 days and then suddenly come and say that I want to do the last rites of my deceased wife? For 10 days, he was evading the law. If he had nothing to hide, why was he on the run? Why was his mother, who was on anticipatory bail, holding press conferences, character assassinating Twisha, and making all kinds of statements to prejudice the case, anybody who heard about the case? Why did she not inform the police station that was just about 100 meters away from her? Why was she involved in bringing the body of Trisha down? There are unlimited questions. The biggest and the most brazen question is, where was Samarth Singh for 10 days, and why did the system allow him to roam free and choose the timing of his surrender?
Yes. Ma'am, Samarth Singh has not been declared a terrorist. Okay, Samarth Singh and earlier section 438 of CRPC and today's section 482 of BNSS gives a right to every person to apply for anticipatory bail. He had applied for anticipatory bail, ma'am, and any person who says that he has been falsely implicated, a false case has been registered against him, he has a right to apply for bail. He applied for bail before Bhopal.
Sir, applying for bail is different from absconding for 10 days. His wife has died. Why was he absconding? He may not be a terrorist, that's your statement. I'm not interested in grandstanding and some speeches from being made here. I'm asking you, why was he absconding if he is in the right, if he has nothing to hide, why was he absconding for 10 days?
Ma'am, there was a case, ma'am, I'm not a law student, okay? You are saying, don't take a class of me. There's a right to every citizen of India to apply for anticipatory bail.
To abscond?
Okay? He had
Does citizen of India have the right to abscond?
You cannot declare him as an absconder. It's only a court that can declare him as an absconder, okay? And he has never been declared as an absconder by a court. No perpetual warrant, no permanent warrant has been ever issued against him. It's not a case of terrorism,
no
ma'am.
Warrant. Fantastic. No warrant. He's not a terrorist. I cannot call him an absconder.
No,
Sanjay Hegde. Now this is what the defense says. And please look at the arrogance of the defense that is being put out here. Sanjay Hegde, if this doesn't make you queasy, what will?
Well, there are several things that make you queasy, but criminal law is like that. Yeah, my learned friend is right. Everybody has a right of anticipatory bail. But stretching it out too far in this manner has its own consequences. It is obvious that they came to a determination that there was no anticipatory bail which was likely to be had, and therefore they withdrew their
So are you saying being absconding for 10 days is legitimate?
I am saying that it is normal practice, because if I'll just explain. In law, if you are arrested, then you can only apply for bail. But if you want anticipatory bail, that right survives till such time as you are not arrested. So if you apprehend arrest in a case, you have a right to go for anticipatory bail.
Anuj Pandey, so he has the right to an anticipatory bail. So what? So what if he was? Not available, not willing to surrender, and not to be found for 10 days? Now this is the system that we are fighting, Mr. Pandey.
शुरू से ही इस प्रकरण में जब से 12 तारीख को जो घटना घटी है उसके बाद से ही जो पीड़िता का परिवार है वो बेल एक इशू है, एंटिसिपेटरी बेल का आपके पास राइट है, उससे कोई किसी को परेशानी नहीं है। सबसे बड़ा मुद्दा यहाँ पर बेल नहीं, सबसे बड़ा मुद्दा यह है कि 12 तारीख को तथाकथित रूप से जो इतनी बड़ी घटना कारित हुई, जहां सस्पिशियस सर्कमस्टेंसेस में तुषार शर्मा की बॉडी मिलती है उन्हीं की सास और उनके हस्बैंड के घर में, उनके मैट्रिमोनियल हाउस में, तब से इन्वेस्टिगेटिंग एजेंसी ने सही समय पर क्यों नहीं सारे एविडेंसेस को कलेक्ट करने की प्रक्रिया शुरू की, क्यों नहीं एफआईआर रजिस्ट्रेशन के बाद भी सही समय पे अगर एविडेंसेस सारे कलेक्ट नहीं किए गए हैं तो क्यों ऐसा कर रहे हैं? तो कहीं ना कहीं जो कॉल डिटेल आज जारी करे गए हैं उनकी विक्टिम की फैमिली के द्वारा, वो दिखाते हैं कि किस तरीके से जो अक्यूज गिरेबाला सिंह है वो हाईली इन्फ्लुएंशियल लोगों से कनेक्टेड थी, लगातार फोन पे बात हो रही थी, उनके 10-10, 15-15 कॉल्स हैं, जो कहीं ना कहीं दर्शाता है कि 12 तारीख के बाद से ही विक्टिम का जो परिवार है वो चाहे पहले इन्वेस्टिगेटिंग एजेंसी हो कटारा हिल्स जो पुलिस स्टेशन कर रही थी, फिर एसआईटी फॉर्म हुई, उनको लगातार सारे एविडेंसेस प्रोवाइड कर रही है जो उनका काम था। उन्होंने अपना काम नहीं करा, शुरू से अगर इन्वेस्टिगेटिंग एजेंसी का देखा जाए तो वो केवल अक्यूज को किस तरीके से फायदा पहुंचाया जाए इसके लिए काम कर रही है। मध्य प्रदेश में अगर एक आरोपी एसआईटी फॉर्म हुई है, 6 टीम घूम रही है उसको ढूंढने के लिए और वो नहीं ढूंढ पाई 12 दिन के अंदर, तो ये कहीं ना कहीं पुलिस की बहुत बड़ी नाकामी है।
Well, Kanchan, I want to ask you, 3 days to file an FIR, 10 days for Samarth Singh to surrender, and this is being called the law of the land. How does that make you feel about Twisha, about justice for Twisha?
Ma'am, what we saw today, Samarth Singh in Jabalpur, it is a clear mockery of the judiciary, I feel. Knowing everything, we have everything in front of us, and still people are justifying it as suicide and trying to put it across like suicide. It is hurtful for the family and all of us.
Well, I seem to have some problems with that network. Yes, go on, Kanchan.
Yes, ma'am. So I was saying what Samarth Singh being in Jabalpur today has shown a clear mockery of the judiciary, and it has hurt the sentiments of the family and the friends and everyone who knows Twisha. It is very hurtful for us. This time is very difficult for the family especially.
Absolutely, totally understandable. But I want to ask Naveen Chomal, also an advocate, and I want to ask you, the Giribala case, in her case, she didn't inform the police when the outpost was just about 100 meters away from her house. The crime scene handling raises questions, is what the police said. Antemortem injuries were found in the post-mortem. Evidence tampering is suspected by the police. Non-cooperation stated by the police. Didn't even cooperate after getting bail, held press conference, and we are still saying that उनका right है, भाई। 10 दिन बाद आ रहे हैं, 3 दिन तो FIR करने में निकल गए, उसके बाद 10 दिन के बाद साहबजादे पहुंच रहे हैं जबलपुर। ये justice है? Do you want the people to really believe that he is not guilty? If he wasn't guilty, why did he not cooperate with the law?
Navika ji, at the outset, I would like to take some time, explain many things in details, helping both the sides. So at the outset, kindly appreciate there is no lack of any sensitivity, and there is a proper sympathy for the girl who lost her life. But now, since we are having a very serious responsibility of ultimately doing justice, being a lawyer, criminal lawyer for 31 years, so it is my circumspect which is guiding me to be balanced on both the sides. So Navika ji, for a lay person, a husband absconding for 10 days may be a very serious thing, a sensitive thing, but that is not the case. There is a catena of judgments of Honorable Supreme Court also.
How is that not the case? How is that not the case? Sanjay Hegde, I want to bring you on this. I want to ask you, it takes the police 3 days to register an FIR, and I'm being told for 10 days, if he doesn't come and join the probe, it is fine, it is a normal thing. 3 days, FIR is not registered. You don't smell a rat in this?
Well, I do smell a rat in the way the matter was processed. An unnatural death could have been registered immediately. After that, it was up to the investigating officer to investigate the entire circumstances of the death.
But my friend Sanjay Hegde, friend Sanjay Hegde, I want to tell you, Giribala Singh, an additional district judge, has an outpost 100 meters away from her house. She didn't even call them. She didn't even inform them. Now the police says that the crime scene may have been tampered with. And you're saying 10 days does not matter. That is the law.
See, the first thing No. Her defense is that she was busy taking the girl to the hospital. Till that much accepted. But thereafter, either the hospital reports to the police, or she herself would have reported to the police. She or even Samarth. That does not seem to have been done. It does appear that there were attempts to possibly hush up the matter or whatever. That 3-day delay, it certainly raises eyebrows.
But her phone call record says she didn't call the police, she didn't call the family, but she called so many judges, the CCTV walas. Isn't that suspect?
Definitely raise suspicion, but it has to be dealt with by the investigating officer.
Naveen Chomal, these are the questions. She was holding press conferences. Is that also as per the law?
What is illegal in that, Navika ji? I'm asking you, what is illegal in that? See, Supreme Court has developed a wisdom that in such situations, people, even innocent people, at times they get afraid and they tend to abscond for some time. So merely a person abscond for around 10 days when he was already approaching the court for anticipatory bail. So you cannot label him to be absconding. See, you have to be balanced from both the sides. We cannot have a media trial. Navika ji, you are the best person to remember that Arun Prabhakar Borude, a decorated police officer from Mumbai Crime Branch, he also lost his life because of the media trial. And the irony is that the day he died, the police submitted a report, charge sheet that was exonerating him. So that is the case.
My friend, I have no desire to conduct a media trial. I am asking you for the questions because we are not additional district judges. We are not lawyers. I'm just seeing the gaps almost as if any common man would. And Priya Malik, I want to ask you, for the common man, it is not the in-laws in whose house Twisha died who informed the police. They didn't inform the police. The parents, the family of Twisha informed the police. Don't you find that strange? Don't you find it strange that the mother, the accused, who gets an anticipatory bail, sits and holds press conferences, prejudices everybody's mind about Twisha, about her now late daughter-in-law, and makes all kinds of statements about her mental health situation, schizophrenic, drug addict, God knows what all she has alleged Twisha with. All that, should we say, is within the permit of law?
Navika, I do sit here as a common person who's not related to Trisha, who's not a lawyer, not an advocate. I sit here as a woman, as a wife, as a daughter-in-law, and everything about this case makes me question this case even more. Would Giribala Singh had acted the same way if it was Samarth who had committed suicide? That is the question. If your daughter-in-law has committed suicide, is this the way to act? It is so suspicious. It is a very simple case of chor ki dadi mein tinka. Tomorrow, if something like this happens to my partner, will I abscond for 10 days? No. I will make sure that I take the body to the hospital and I'm there, making sure that everything is being done. I need to know what exactly happened to my husband and everything else that took place. This is what a common person who has nothing to hide, who hasn't done anything wrong, this is how a common person would react. It is only when you know that you have something to hide and you can tell me which section, what section, everything that is applicable. You can sit there in your chair and tell me that. But as a wife, as a daughter, as a daughter-in-law, as a future mother-in-law, I am questioning the way Twisha's death has been handled. ऐसे नहीं होता है. सहज घरों में ऐसा नहीं होता है, ना ही होना चाहिए. And that is what we need to question, that this is not how a death is treated.
Absolutely, I agree with you. The kind of questions in the audio clip that Giribala Singh is asking Harshit, the brother of Twisha, I am a mother-in-law. I have no right to question. Whatever happens between the husband and the wife. They deal with their issues. As a mother-in-law, do I begin to humiliate my daughter-in-law like that? Certainly not. That is something that I would think as a sane person. But Sana, I want to ask you, Sana Rais Khan, I want to ask you, in this case, we are saying she committed suicide. The family brings her body down, does CPR, takes her to the hospital, does not inform the police, nothing of the sort, calls up CCTV walas, calls up the parlor, sends advocates posing as cops to get CCTV footage from there कि वो वहां कर क्या रही थी. All that is in the purview of law. What is not in the purview of law is the fact that her husband Samarth Singh then goes absconding. For 3 days, no FIR is filed, and then suddenly he surfaces 10 days later. And this is the husband we are saying is following the due process of law.
As a criminal lawyer, I will say that he's not absconding because, as a matter of fact, he was availing his legal remedies. He would have been called an absconder if he did not apply for anticipatory bail in the first place in the Honorable Court. He applied, and during the pendency, even if he's surrendering, that is again not admission of guilt. He's just participating in the judicial process. So the country is, of course, emotionally invested because, unfortunately, a young woman has lost her life. But that tragic cannot really replace evidence, because these viral clips and all, they cannot determine culpability. Because courts ultimately always rely on evidence. Now, coming to the legal positioning for invocation of Section 108, which is culpable, which is abetment to suicide, there has to be an active provocation, conduct so grave and continuous and proximate that it leaves the deceased with no option but to commit suicide. Then the Supreme Court has also repeatedly held that any unhappy marriage cannot really be converted into prosecution for abetment to suicide. Again, this mindset is also very troubling for me, that just because an accused is a lawyer or a retired judge and hence he's influential, and if he approaches court, he defends himself legally, people say he's influential. Let me say this clearly, that courts do not grant relief because someone is a lawyer or related to a retired judge. Courts grant relief based on legal merit, facts, procedure, and constitutional principles. In fact, tomorrow if we start saying that lawyers should not seek anticipatory bail remedies or constitutional procedures, I think...
I'm not saying that. They should... Of course, everybody has the right to apply for anticipatory bail. But I'm only asking you, what is the message that is conveyed if somebody applies for an anticipatory bail and, when his wife dies under mysterious circumstances, doesn't join the probe on his own? If he has nothing to hide, my question is limited to that. If there is nothing to hide, then why did he not join? He should have been with the family of Twisha's brother and father and mother to demand, all kinds of inquiries to be taking place. Why was he not joining that? Does that not raise serious questions?
Correct, ma'am. And my one very important question to this is that why was there no NC, no FIR, no written complaint to the police or women's side during the lifetime of the deceased? Why there is no evidence of any dowry demand? Why coming now and raising all these allegations after...
Mr. Pandey, the lawyer for Trisha and her family, आप इसका जवाब दें कि पहले कोई कंप्लेंट क्यों नहीं की, ये सवाल पूछा जा रहा है.
अभी मैटर इन्वेस्टिगेशन में है. पहले शिकायत इसलिए नहीं करी क्योंकि शादी को 5 महीने हुए थे. कोई भी लड़की की शादी होती है, उसके परिवार वालों ने बहुत पैसे खर्चे करे थे, शादी करी थी, सब कुछ अच्छा रखने के लिए, उसने अपना घर परिवार बचाने के लिए, और ये लड़की की शादी होती है, हर संभव प्रयास करती है कि जब तक जरूरत ना हो वो अपने परिवार से कोई ऐसी बातें जो इनकी सास ने करी होगी, हस्बैंड ने करी है, वो हर प्रकार से कोशिश करती है कि अपना घर बचा ले. आज न्यायालय में कोई भी प्रकरण आता है फैमिली लॉ से संबंधित, सबसे पहले यही करता है कोर्ट कि सबसे पहले वो अपने घर परिवार को बचा ले. इसीलिए उसने अपने घर से शिकायतें करी. वो अभी आगे चल के इन्वेस्टिगेशन में आएगा, जो भी स्टेटमेंट उनको देने हैं वो रिकॉर्ड होंगे. मैटर अभी अंडर इन्वेस्टिगेशन है, लेकिन कहीं ना कहीं जो FIR में भी आया 24 तारीख की घटना, जब सामर्थ ने प्रॉमिस करा कि वो आगे जाके इनसे मारपीट नहीं करेगा, इसी आधार पे वो वापस साथ में रहने आई थी। लेकिन जो व्हाट्सएप चैट जमा करी गई है उसमें दिखा रहे हैं, उसमें आ रहा है कि वो अपने मदर से कंप्लेन कर रही हैं कि फिर से इसने वही सब शुरू कर दिया। तो कहीं ना कहीं उसने
the investigation, the state on the 10th day has referred the matter for a CBI investigation. We will have to wait and watch what really is revealed in that investigation. Too many unanswered questions.